fiber backbone infrastructure, the one we call NOFBI. A further 12 remote court stations will be connected through mobile broadband. We remain acutely cognizant of the unequal access to technologies, limited internet access across the country, and lack of knowledge or ability to use technologies deployed. We are therefore developing strategies and innovations to mitigate the potential of digital exclusion. This includes the initiative to provide e-judiciary services through Huduma centers for members of the public who cannot access internet. Instead of them going to cyber cafes, they can go to the Huduma center and find a judiciary desk where they can do their filing or conduct their hearings. On human resource capital, Your Excellency, it is a truism that performance of the judiciary's mandate is pegged foremost on having adequate and motivated personnel to deliver judicial and support services. In this regard, in collaboration with the Judicial Service Commission, the judiciary employed various modalities to build capacity of our human resource capital. For optimal function, the required judiciary establishment, Your Excellency, is 9,417 members of staff. For us to be operational, to operate optimally, we need 348 judges. We need 1,200 judicial officers. Those are the magistrates and the caddies. We need 650 law clerks and legal researchers to support the work of the judges and the judicial officers, and 7,219 judicial staff. At the end of the reporting period, the employee complement was at 66%, that is 6,182, an increase by 10% from the previous year. Judges were at 49%, magistrates and caddies also at 49%, law clerks and legal researchers at 27%, and judicial staff at 66%. We need the continued support of the executive and the parliament to address the human resource constraints that are prevailing in the judiciary. The judiciary also made a conscious effort to create a workplace that is inclusive and reflective of the community in which we operate as demanded by the Constitution. Overall gender representation in the judiciary, Your Excellency, female to male, is at the ratio of 49 to 51, signifying compliance with the key constitutional imperatives. I expect you to clap for that, because judiciary is providing leadership. Those who are struggling to understand how to bring gender equality in their places of work, they can come for benchmarking in the judiciary. Significantly, Your Excellency, the judiciary believes in the vitality and promise of the youth. 71% of the judiciary employees are between the ages of 26 to 45 years. I and the Deputy Chief Justice are the oldest. We still have a long way to go, including getting judges of the High Court, the Environment and Land Court, Employment and Labor Relations Court in all the counties. We require magistrates sitting in all the sub-counties and adjudicators for our small claims courts across the whole country. Addressing the human resource constraints in this regard is one of the areas where we are seeking the continued support of the executive and parliament. I will also speak briefly on the financial performance. During the reporting period, one of the key achievements was the operationalization of the Judiciary Fund at the end of the judiciary financial year. This followed from a successful consultative process between the judiciary, the National Treasury, the Central Bank, and the Controller of Budget. The Judiciary Fund account and its operational accounts were opened and activated on July 1, 2022. The Judiciary Fund Committee has been established to oversee budget implementation and to regularly advise the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary on the performance of the fund. The judiciary allocation for the year 2021-2022 was 18.1 billion, out of which 15.9 billion was for recurrent expenses, and Kenya shillings 2.154 billion was for the development budget. This represents about, Your Excellency, 0.6% of the total national budget, and just a small fraction of these resources of what is actually allocated to Parliament and the Executive. We never like to compare ourselves with other people, but when it comes to budget allocation, we are just short of shy of saying that consider the judiciary the same way you consider Parliament. It is also well below the international best practice of 3% allocation of the national budget to judiciaries. Your Excellency's decisive measures to correct and improve this historical underfunding will bring reprieve to millions of Kenyans seeking justice across the country. Many times I've asked myself why we have had to build prefabricated structures on our rooftop on a building that is a national museum. Then I was told there was no money to do better than to just build those prefabs. I wondered why we built a toilet out there. We could have just built a building, but I was told the money that was there could only afford to build the prefabs and build an abolition outside. So we all have to keep walking outside or sometimes even to the hotel because the facilities are not sufficient. On accountability mechanisms, it is important to report to Kenyans that we have rolled out robust accountability performance measurement and complaints handling mechanism in line with the constitutional mandate given to the judiciary, whereby we are supposed to be independent but at the same time accountable. It is notable that in November 2021, we invited the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to undertake a comprehensive judiciary systems audit. This systemic review of the policies, our procedures and practices of the judiciary will definitely identify the avenues and opportunities for unethical and corrupt practices so that the judiciary can work towards eliminating them. Regarding the worrying state of physical infrastructure, the judiciary has formulated a physical infrastructural Marshall Plan that targets to meet the contemporary justice demands by Kenyans. This, Your Excellency, includes a High Court building in counties without such courts, magistrate courts in constituencies without the courts, and 100 small claims courts. We also urgently need to put up a modern Supreme Court building to house the Supreme Court and the administrative headquarters of the judiciary. Your Excellency, we also need a Court of Appeal building to manage the expanded needs of the courts and the Kenya Judiciary Academy. We thank Your Excellency for signaling that addressing these infrastructure concerns constitutes an integral part of your legacy. We will work with you to realize this dream that will revolutionize the delivery of justice in our country. In conclusion, allow me to thank you, Your Excellency, and all our distinguished guests who have graced this occasion once more for honoring us with your presence and for listening to us. I also thank the team that worked so diligently to prepare the Sonja Report 2021-2022, which was read by my very own indefatigable, energized Chief of Staff, Madam Rose Washuka. I now welcome Your Excellency and distinguished guests to watch a very short video I writing the contents of the report, followed by a visual launch. I thank all of you and I embrace all of you and pray that God will continue to guide us and guide our country to prosperity. Thank you.
The video, please. May we have the video continue playing? Karibu.
Met by the stakeholders in the justice sector in the 2021-2022 financial year. The report, now in its 11th year of publication, fosters accountability and engagement with the public in line with constitutional imperatives of judicial authority and access to justice. In the year under review, a key highlight was the establishment of the Judiciary Fund, which is enabling the judiciary to fully implement its financial work plans. The social transformation through access to justice vision being pursued by the judiciary is expanding the doorways of justice through the small claims court, which have facilitated resolution of 9,315 cases worth 1.4 billion Kenya shillings during the period under review. Alternative forms of dispute resolution constitute a core component of initiatives introduced to address backlog. Court-annexed mediation and alternative justice systems provided pivotal avenues to resolving disputes, culminating in the first ever National Alternative Justice Conference. Court-annexed mediation facilitated settlement of 66 cases worth 554 million Kenya shillings. On 10th March 2022, to commemorate the International Day of Women Judges, the Chief Justice launched the first specialized sexual and gender-based violence court to address the needs of victims. The judiciary decentralized the political parties' disputes tribunal, significantly reducing case completion and reinforcing internal political party dispute resolution mechanisms. The judiciary is enhancing public trust through vigorous public engagements under a shared leadership model and also continues to leverage on technology. The judiciary has implemented strategies to reduce case backlog through optimal staffing and leveraging technology for the administration of justice. This has resulted in improved service delivery and enhanced public trust. Moving towards a well-resourced judiciary for social transformation through access to justice.
Asante sana. At the end of the function, I am advised that the Honorable Chief Justice has invited us for lunch. So after the national anthem, we will request that all of us proceed to the lunch venue after the end of the function, after the national anthem. And we will have a photo opportunity after that. May we now have the video again play so that His Excellency the President can follow the video. Kindly. Thank you.
The State of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice Annual Report 2021-2022 is a scorecard of the achievements and challenges collectively met by the stakeholders in the justice sector in the 2021-2022 financial year. The report, now in its 11th year of publication, fosters accountability and engagement with the public in line with constitutional imperatives of judicial authority and access to justice. In the year under review, a key highlight was the establishment of the Judiciary Fund, which is enabling the judiciary to fully implement its financial work plans. The social transformation through access to justice vision being pursued by the judiciary is expanding the doorways of justice through the small claims court, which have facilitated resolution of 9,315 cases worth 1.4 billion Kenya shillings during the period under review. Alternative forms of dispute resolution constitute a core component of initiatives introduced to address backlog. Court-annexed mediation and alternative justice systems provided pivotal avenues to resolving disputes, culminating in the first ever National Alternative Justice Conference. Court-annexed mediation facilitated settlement of 66 cases worth 554 million Kenya shillings. On 10th March 2022, to commemorate the International Day of Women Judges, the Chief Justice launched the first specialized sexual and gender-based violence court to address the needs of victims. The judiciary decentralized the political parties' disputes tribunal, significantly reducing case completion and reinforcing internal political party dispute resolution mechanisms. The judiciary is enhancing public trust through vigorous public engagements under a shared leadership model and also continues to leverage on technology. The judiciary has implemented strategies to reduce case backlog through optimal staffing and leveraging technology for the administration of justice. This has resulted in improved service delivery and enhanced public trust. Moving towards a well-resourced judiciary for social transformation through access to justice.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. And there we have it. If we can have the launch moment continue, kindly. Thank you, Your Excellency, sir. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The annual State of the Judiciary and the Administrative Justice Report for the year 2021-2022. Tuwapongeze kwa makofi, mabibi na mabwana. Let us appreciate. Thank you very much. As the report is now officially launched. Asante sana. Your Excellency, sir, I am advised that the Judicial Service Act requires that this report be presented, but first transmitted to the two houses of Parliament, and that was done this morning. The Act also requires that the report is presented to the people of Kenya. And with your permission, Your Excellency, I will request the Honorable Chief Justice to present the report here to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, on behalf of the people of Kenya. Karibu sana, welcome, Your Excellency. And the second set will be presented to the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly on behalf of the two houses. Speaker, if you could kindly join me here, kindly. The first copy to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya. Tumpigie makofi wakati anapokea from the Honorable Chief Justice. Speaker kidogo kwanza apate picha ya His Excellency and the Chief Justice handling the report. Your Excellency, I will request we remain there just a bit. The Speaker of the National Assembly, kindly a copy for the Speaker of the National Assembly. And on behalf of Parliament. And now, Asante, I request the Honorable Chief Justice to get a copy and get in between His Excellency the President and the Speaker and re-showcase to the people of Kenya the report just presented for that photo. Asante sana, tuwapigie makofi. Asante sana. I request Your Excellency and also the Speaker to retreat to our seats as the Chief Justice comes and guides the next part of the program.
Thank you very much. Please take your seats. Thank you. For thus far we have gone, it is indeed now my
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of Kenya's Defense Forces, the Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Lady Justice Martha Koome, the Deputy Chief Justice, the Honorable Attorney General, Speaker of the National Assembly, all our judicial officers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Your Excellency, I'm also happy to be here. Earlier alone, the Honorable Chief Justice said that she has not seen the Prime Cabinet Minister here before. Lady Chief Justice, I've been around your courtrooms for a while in different circumstances. And I say that there is God in heaven. that today, in totally different circumstances, I was having tea in the office of the Chief Justice and being taken around by the Deputy Chief Justice. Your Excellency, the independence of our judiciary cannot be overemphasized. As our leader, as our president, you have told all of us repeatedly that your administration has a commitment to strengthen and protect independent institutions, starting with the judiciary. And your policy direction to all of us, those of us who work under you, has been understood clearly and is being implemented. You have told us that you want the strengthening of independent institutions to form part of your legacy. And I want to assure our judicial officers seated here today, in the Ruto administration, none of us, not the president, not I, not those below us, will ever take a telephone and ask you to determine a matter either way or another. That will not happen. And if you come across anybody purporting to speak for the president, tell them to get you something in writing. And they will not. And if they insist and they persist, look for me, then I'll sort it out. We must have an independent judiciary for our country because it is healthy. Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the people of Kenya to salute the judiciary for having stopped the BBI on its tracks. It was a terrible scheme against the people of Kenya, and all of us had given up. It was being taken down our throats. Everybody was being coerced. Everybody was being persecuted. Everybody was being bribed. But because we have an independent judiciary, all the way from the High Court to the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court, the Kenyan state was preserved through prudent judicial discretion. On behalf of the people of Kenya, we want to say thank you to the judiciary. We don't know what we would have done because these people were determined. And therefore, we want to assure you of our continued support. And I want to confirm here today that the President, our boss, in his wisdom, has placed the function of coordinating independent offices and constitutional commissions in my office, not for the purpose of interfering with whatever you do, but for the very purpose of providing a facilitative and supportive role to your work by intervening where you need intervention in the Treasury and elsewhere in government, because the President wants the independent institutions to be facilitated and supported. And once we do that, I think we'll be able to have a good country that is managed by respect for the rule of law. For officers and us, under the President, for the avoidance of doubt. Because it's important, sometimes people make mistakes without knowing. I want to confirm to you that the President has directed that this country will be governed through strict compliance to the rule of law. And we want to advise officers that you shouldn't, under any circumstances, obey unlawful orders. And if you decide to obey them, you are on your own. There will be nobody to give you cover. This is a country that will be governed through the rule of law and strict compliance with the Constitution. And that is the policy direction from our President, and all of us are complying. Without further ado, it is now my privilege and honor to ask you to be outstanding as we invite the President of the Republic of Kenya Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Mr. President.
Thank you very much, and let's take our seats. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
What instances? Obey and love orders. And if you decide to obey them, you are on your own.
The Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Lady Justice Martha Koome, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, the Deputy Chief Justice, the Attorney General, judicial officers, fellow leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my first occasion to be in the judiciary in my new role. I've been here before. And I want to thank the Chief Justice for putting a passionate case
and is being implemented
for the judiciary. I have listened to all the speakers very carefully.
Stopped the BBI on its track,
especially the Chief Justice.
I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the people of Kenya
on what kind of judiciary we must look forward to. You have made a very passionate case on matters human resource, technology, resources.
Kenya. To salute the judiciary.
When I stood to walk out, I went to check on the toilets and abolition blocks.
The BBI on its trucks.
They have been set up outside the premise. And I confirm
it was a terrible scheme against the people of Kenya.
About our judiciary, especially those of us who are in the other arms of government. It is true, the governor of Nairobi has been on phone with me and the Chief Justice,
and all of us had given up.
Problems that
it was being taken down our throats. Everybody was being coerced. Everybody was being persecuted.
Between
everybody was being bribed.
Government, and I want to thank the Chief Justice
because we have an independent judiciary
of the work of the executive, and in equal measure, we will be facilitative of the judiciary, because in the end, we want to serve the people of Kenya together. It is correct for the governor of Nairobi to work with us, and I have already given firm instructions on digitizing Nairobi and many of the big towns and making sure that we have digital cameras so that we can make it that much more easy for us to move traffic, and traffic cases that constitute a huge percentage of the backlog in our courts should be done in the space that provide for instant fines online so that we can decongest our courts. I agree with you, Governor, and we will work with you in making sure that that happens. I, however, am not too sure about the concept of sharing fines. With those who report, maybe you will need a small note from the Attorney General by way of a legal opinion. But it is with great honor to join you today as you launch the State of the Judiciary report. The judiciary is a vital component of the Kenyan state and an arm of government which serves as an independent and serves an independent role. Justice to all of our nation, fostering adherence to the rule of law, dispensing and respect to human rights, and continuous improvement of our good governance. The state of the judiciary, its capacity, performance, achievements, impact, and prospects matter a great deal to all of us. Our commitments, insofar as they relate to the judicial arm of government, are important. We all have a duty to observe the rule of law and to respect the authority of our judicial institution and its officers as a cardinal ingredient of our mandatory commitment in Article 3.1 of the Constitution. The state of the judiciary matters because the government's mandate to ensure stability, enforce law and order, resolve disputes, maintain security, guarantee safety, and promote well-being directly relies on the existence of an effective and efficient legal system. The workings of our judicial system demonstrates the extent to which individual welfare, economic efficiency, state capacity, and fundamental rights are intertwined. If you care about the economy or national security or constitutional rights or how individual citizens fare, you must care about the state of our judiciary. At the inauguration of our administration, I stated our commitment to do our part in consolidating the role of the judiciary in our constitutional and democratic order and in cementing Kenya's place as a country guided by democratic ideals and the rule of law. I noted the importance of implementing the Judiciary Fund to secure the financial autonomy of the judiciary, thus securing its operational independence. We also commit to enhance the budgetary allocation to the judiciary annually to support the bottom-up delivery of justice by increasing the number of small claims courts, establishing high court stations in the remaining 7 counties, setting up magistrates' courts in 123 sub-counties, and supporting the judiciary's digitization program, which was displayed to us this morning, and it is doing a great job. The intended objective of these interventions is the expeditious adjudication of cases and the expansion of access to justice. It is important to note that these interventions will be complemented by other measures across the entire spectrum of the judicial chain, including the enhancement of autonomy and professionalism of our police service. It is worth expounding on the broader context behind these interventions. Our administration was elected on a platform to pursue certain interlocking agendas. Primarily, the bottom-up approach is in pursuit of socio-economic transformation to achieve shared prosperity, where no one is left behind. To do this, we recognize the cardinal objective of citizen well-being at the front and center of our immediate, medium-term, and long-term policy programs and projects. This being the case, it is inevitable that our program of action aligns with the implementation of measures that are necessary to attain socio-economic rights set out in Article 43 of the Constitution. We see the nation to be greater than the sum of its individual citizens. Its stature and might, therefore, consist of the aggregate happiness of the people which constitute it. We conceive this nation's prosperity to consist of the achievement of well-being citizen by citizen. Well-being considerably depends on the existence of meaningful opportunities for citizens to realize their aspirations. It is our manifest commitment to facilitate access to these opportunities by ordinary citizens on a rapidly increasing scale. We intend to begin with deliberate programs to create millions of jobs in agriculture, manufacturing, housing, and within the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises level. These are the two limbs of our bottom-up model of economic transformation, scaling up from the individual to the nation, and from the little hustles to the commanding heights of our economic system. The duty of government to its citizens is to open doors of opportunity on one hand and to protect freedoms and rights on the other. Opportunity lies in vibrant, diverse, competitive, and dynamic economy, whose efficiency is guaranteed by a credible system of enforcing contracts and securing property rights. However, whichever way one approaches the matter, a robust, independent, and effective judiciary, which inspires the confidence of all citizens, lies at the heart of national socio-economic transformation. This is why the state of the judiciary matters to everyone in Kenya. It is encouraging to note the extent of alignment between the executive and the judiciary as reflected in the State of the Judiciary report. I say this in full awareness of the dictates of separation of powers and the unique constitutional autonomy of the judiciary in the triangular relationship among the traditional arms of government. Nevertheless, from our distinct and separate domains, we can use the Constitution as our compass to navigate our way through our respective functions to attain the highest standards of living for all Kenyans. This is precisely what is captured in the Kenya Kwanza plan, and that is the bottom-up transformation agenda on one hand, and the strategic vision of the judiciary on the other, and that is social transformation through access to justice. Both documents explicitly set out the realization of the promise of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. They championed the inclusion of the traditionally excluded and historically marginalized sectors of our society. Each document also prioritizes the millions at the bottom of the socio-economic and political pyramid as the foundation of sustainable transformation. Furthermore, we are united in the knowledge that an accessible, efficient, and impartial judicial system facilitates shared economic development that meaningfully includes the needy, most vulnerable, and marginalized segments of our society. We also recognize that the efficiency of the judicial system in the resolution of commercial disputes and securing property rights is key to making Kenya a destination of choice for investors. The government, therefore, will support the judiciary to attain efficiency in its operations so that it can effectively contribute to the attraction and retention of foreign and domestic investments. The judiciary's stated aim to tackle systemic formal as well as informal barriers to access to justice resonates quite strongly with our administration's objective to provide access to public platforms and processes for previously excluded or underserved groups. I am satisfied that this model of delivering justice from the bottom up underpins citizen well-being and complements it with the opportunities for self-actualization created by stronger economic performance and higher investment confidence. The socio-economic transformation through access to justice is a program that is responsive to the gaps in the judicial system, ensuring that possibilities become a reality by virtue of decisive measures to develop a high-quality, accessible, efficient, expeditious, and cost-effective judiciary. Such a people-centered approach aligns admirably with our broader transformation agenda. I have noted from the State of the Judiciary report that the judiciary has made progress in delivering value for taxpayers' investments in establishing critical infrastructure and achieving significant improvement in resolving disputes. For example, the small claims courts cohort of the judicature, now comprising 11 courts, disposed of 9,315 cases, unlocking 1.4 billion that had been held up in disputes. The first specialized sexual and gender-based violence court was inaugurated in Shanzu in Mombasa, and the political parties disputes tribunal was decentralized to 7 regions. It is highly commendable that apart from setting up premises for High Court, Land and Environment Court, and Magistrates Courts across the country, the judiciary has also complemented these developments with ICT capabilities. Various judicial procedures have been simplified and disseminated to standardize service delivery. The case tracking system has gone a long way in reducing the burden of manual performance of various important judicial tasks. Collaboration with technology companies, particularly Google Africa, has enhanced internet connectivity to support virtual court proceedings across the country. From the slow, manual, cumbersome, and vulnerable judiciary of recent years, we are now witnessing the rapid evolution of a judicial system that is smart, connected, digitized, automated, and efficient. Steadily, the judiciary is getting ready for the challenges that lie ahead and shaping up as a fit-for-purpose vehicle for delivery of justice. It is no surprise, then, that the number of cases filed or pending as compared to those concluded on an annual basis provide an encouraging report. The judiciary now has better capacity to measure its own performance and capture all aspects of service delivery in accurate statistics. Cases are being concluded faster, and the number of matters stayed in the courts is declining. The decline in overall backlog rate, despite the rise in numbers of new cases, points to enhanced efficiency. This is also encouraging. A direct effect of this performance enhancement is that judicial officers have been liberated from the tedious, inefficient, and manual labor, freeing them to perform their core function, and that is the production of robust jurisprudence that breathes life into our constitutional and legal dispensation. The State of the Judiciary report also includes numerous instances of jurisprudence that involve the invalidation of executive measures. All I can say is that we will strive to live up to our commitment to work within the Constitution and avoid running afoul with our courts. As I give this assurance, I am alive to the fact that the judiciary has mechanisms to achieve accountability for the exercise of judicial power and for public resources entrusted to it. The outputs of the Judicial Ombudsman are tremendously enlightening. Particularly noteworthy is that beyond resolving complaints, the mechanisms investigates root causes to minimize recurrence. And I want to encourage Madam Chief Justice and the judicial system to improve on the Judicial Ombudsman's performance. The public and the other arms of government expect the judiciary to perform its duty with integrity. And it's my expectation, because judicial power and independence comes with huge responsibility. And huge responsibility comes with a good measure of accountability. And that is why, to be able to exercise judicial power and independence effectively, responsibility and accountability must come with it. And I want to work with the judiciary, to support the judiciary, so that we can have an accountable and responsive judicial system. Integrity assurance and corruption prevention are essential pillars of remedial and corrective action. Likewise, the judiciary's performance management enhances staff accountability and guarantees service delivery to a high professional standard with assurance of continued improvement. Enforcement of Judicial Service Commission's Code of Conduct also forms part of the performance management and integrity assurance framework. And together, they provide the basis for internal audits that are used to measure and improve performance in the judiciary. I have noted all these impressive achievements for two principal reasons. First, the high standard and consistent improvement was achieved in spite of the judiciary's staff establishment falling far below its requirement. Currently, the judiciary has 6,182 employees. To operate optimally, the report states that the judiciary requires 9,417 employees, 348 judges, 1,200 judicial officers, and 650 law clerks and legal researchers, and 7,219 judicial staff. Secondly, the impressive performance was achieved on a budgetary allocation which stood at 0.6% of the national budget. Without a doubt, the low budgetary allocation has affected critical projects and activities. It is with this in mind that I gave the undertaking, and which I repeat, to enhance annual allocation to the judiciary for the next 5 years in an effort to mitigate the opportunity cost of accrued shortfalls. And since we have the other arms of government represented here, we have committed to increase the budgetary allocation to the judiciary by 3 billion shillings every year to make sure that we build the necessary infrastructure, hire the requisite numbers of staff, and build ICT capabilities to enable our judiciary deliver on its mandate. I congratulate the Chief Justice and the entire judicial service for doing a good job against serious constraints. We do not take for granted your admirable effort to raise the standard of output amid such tremendous challenges. I believe that I have demonstrated sufficient commitment to provide confidence that we in the executive shall do our part to support the judiciary in delivery of its mandate. I applaud the judiciary's overall performance and its consistency in retaining public trust. We acknowledge that there are gaps, of course, but we also recognize that there is demonstrable opportunity, capacity, and commitment to bridge them to the satisfaction of all citizens. I pledge our support to your vision of social transformation through access to justice because it is our duty to do so, because we are aligned in our transformational agenda, and because we share a citizen-centric, bottom-up delivery model focused on individual and collective well-being of all the citizens of Kenya. For the avoidance of doubt, I reiterate my commitment and that of the government of Kenya to live up to our pledge to the people of Kenya that we intend to empower the judiciary and the criminal justice system as required by the Constitution, as well as respect the decisions and orders of the courts as they relate to the executive. Expect no more or no less. And even as we commit to the independence of the judiciary and to support the judiciary, give it financial independence, we do the same for all the other independent institutions. I did commit that we will do the same for our police service because we believe that a professional police service will do the job. I have already established an independent budget and appointed an independent accounting officer for the police service so that they can discharge their mandate without reference to any other office or any other institution, as is required of us by law. I am a great believer, and I will work with all the arms of government in building our institutions and respecting those institutions. We will build the judiciary and respect the judiciary. We will build all the other institutions, including the police and other institutions, and support them and respect them. We cannot, at the same time, be bringing down our institutions and expecting them to work for us. We must collectively, as a country, work towards building all the institutions set up by the Constitution as a guarantee for the country being built on the solid foundation of the rule of law and respect for the Constitution. Any other attempt to build this nation on the basis of individuals and personalities will lead to monumental failure. As we build, and I want to commit that we will support our security agencies to take up their mandate and protect and safeguard the sovereignty and the security of our country. And we will work with them to eliminate groups and sections that work against the Constitution and the law. I am very clear in my mind that we do not need the advice from the Scotland Yard to be able to remove and disband the murderous units in our police force. We didn't need any advice from nowhere. We just needed to respect our Constitution and do the right thing. I am very clear in my mind that supporting a professional police force will guarantee the lives of every Kenyan and the security of our property, and we will get rid of the menace of extrajudicial killings. We certainly don't need the support of institutions built by others. We can build our own institutions. Even those other institutions that we celebrate, be they the Scotland Yard or the FBI, they were built by countries who respect the rule of law and who believe in institutions. We should believe in ours. We should support our police force. We should support the Independent Police Oversight Authority. we should build our institutions. They will guarantee our security and they will guarantee our democracy. And that is what I believe in. Let me also say, for the record, because I hear our friends and brothers from the opposition trying to propose to us that we should denigrate our own institutions and work with the institutions of others, that we are much more sure of building our own institutions. And secondly, let me also say, for the avoidance of doubt, that as we commit additional resources and financial independence of all our independent institutions, the judiciary, the police, and all the other institutions, we must all work collectively towards making sure that we have savings and we collect revenues that will support our development. I want to ask the judiciary to work with us and not to provide any safe haven for the people running away from paying tax. They should not find refuge in the judiciary. They should not find refuge in judicial orders. We want every citizen to carry their portion of the burden of running the affairs of our country. That is the request I am making to the judiciary, as I do to the legislature, that we must all work towards sealing the loopholes of pilferage and leakage in our revenue collection. I think it is important for us to note that as a percentage of GDP, we are collecting 14% of our GDP. Our neighbors are collecting 25% of our GDP. So we are lagging behind. And that is why we have shortage of resources to run our development program. Our friends in the opposition are telling us that we should continue to borrow and we should not raise our savings. I want to say, for the avoidance of doubt and on record, that already we have had conversations with the Central Organization of Trade Unions. We have consultations with the Federation of Kenya Employers, and we have all agreed, except the people in the opposition, that it is necessary to increase our contributions on savings from 200 shillings to 6% of our salaries. Our brothers and sisters in the opposition should wake up to this reality and smell the coffee. Kenyans are moving on. We want to raise our savings because at the moment we are between 10 and 12% of GDP in terms of savings. We can scale that up to between 30 and 40% of our GDP. That is the surest foundation of running our development program, not merely thinking that you can go on a borrowing spree. In any case, the money you go to borrow is the savings of others, and you have to pay through the nose if you have to borrow. So we have, everybody's job has been cut out, and we will continue to have this conversation because we are a democratic nation. Finally, and once again, I congratulate the judiciary on the commendable progress made in delivering your solemn constitutional mandate, and wish all of you God's blessings as you proceed on the journey to transformational success. Thank you, and may God bless you. Asanteni sana.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we all be upstanding for the national anthem and the lowering of the mace. national anthem. Still upstanding for the lowering of the minutes.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, kama unavyoona tunakupitia mubashara kutoka mahakama ya upeo ambapo Rais William Ruto ameweza kutoa hotuba yake kuhusiana na utendakazi wa mahakama. Mpenzi mtazamaji, hivi sasa wacha tuweze kuvuka kwingineko, na ni kwamba wabunge kutoka mrengo wa Kenya Kwanza wamemsuta kinara wa Azimio, samani kwa hilo, wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Raila Odinga, wakimtaka mkweli wakati anakosoa serikali. Wakiongozwa na kiongozi wa wengi bungeni Kimani Ichung'wah, wanadai kuwa uchumi ulifeli wakati wa serikali ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Hebu tuvuke moja kwa moja hadi majengo ya bunge tuwasikilize.
Tumezungumza hapa kama viongozi wa Kenya Kwanza. Tumesema kwamba economy ya Kenya sasa hivi mtu ameanza kucomplain juu ya maneno ya economy just about 50 days into elections. Hiyo ni nini? Siku tu zimepita 50. Lakini unaona kidogo mtu washaanza kutoa lawama kwa serikali ambayo yeye mwenyewe alihusika kuharibu. Wakati alienda kushikana mikono na mwenzake, wakaweka hela zote katika vitu kama BBI. Wakaweka hela zote kwa vitu ambazo hazitusaidii kama siasa za kidhuruma. Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba sisi kama viongozi wa Kenya Kwanza tuna support Mheshimiwa Rais kwa kila ambacho anafanya. Kama ni kushika wakora wa extrajudicial killings, washikwe. Kama ni maneno ya vile kwanza amebuni kabineti yake, tunawaambia tunawasupport. Hata ma-PS ambao wameletwa bungeni tutawapitisha, kwa sababu tunataka tuendelee kuroll na tusaidie nchi yetu kutoka kwa hii mikono ambayo ilikuwa mbaya sana ya handshake.
I think maybe just put into context what is written. You remember the former Prime Minister yesterday, and I want to quote, he said that he is opposed to the government investigating the extrajudicial killings, and said it's a current trend directed by a vindictive regime and the president that seems to be pursuing a personal vendetta against specific current and past state officers in the pretext of pursuing extrajudicial executions. And the question we're asking the former Prime Minister, is he saying that no investigation should be carried out on the extrajudicial killings that happened in this country? Or is he saying that they did not happen? Is he telling us that it is a vindictive agenda that is targeting specific current and past state officers? Does Mr. Odinga know who these state officers are? And that's what we're asking Mr. Odinga. If you know who these current or former state officers are, who may have been involved in extrajudicial killings, the right thing for you to do is not to castigate government for investigating, is to walk to the investigative authorities, relay the information you have, help them unravel the mystery of bodies being fished out of River Yala, or the Aberdare Forest, or Tana River. And I think all Kenyans witness these things and they know there were extrajudicial killings. The second thing on the economy, I think we're only telling Mr. Odinga, he is part and parcel of the problem. He abandoned his oversight role when he was opposition leader, and we allowed him, in our statement, that's why we have lauded Mr. Odinga, that now...
Naam, kwa sasa Elizabeth Mutuku anazidi kufuatilia taarifa hiyo, na bila shaka hapo baadaye tutaweza kupatia utendeti wa taarifa hiyo. Ila tukisonga kwingine ni kwamba japo kiangazi kimeathiri nchi hii kwa kiwango kikubwa, matumaini ya matumizi ya visima kujikimu kutokana na baa la njaa yanasalia makubwa, kwani Judy Njenga aliye mkulima eneo la Naivasha, aliye pia tuzwa na rais mstaafu kwa mkulima bora zaidi wa kike mwaka 2018, akidhibitisha haya kwa kwa kilimo kupitia visima. Mwandishi wetu Willy Dennis Njiru kwa sasa tunaungana naye moja kwa moja akiwa shambani humo kwa mengi zaidi.
Asanti sana mwenzangu ukiwa studioni, na bila kuongeza mambo unavyoona nyuma yangu ni kwamba tunazo kabiji hapa ambazo zimenawiri kwa wingi, na mkulima ambaye amewezesha yote haya tunaye kwa sasa, na atakuwa akitueleza kwamba yote yanawezekana lakini kupitia tu visima. Kwa sababu muda umesonga sana, atueleze jina la kwake na ni mwito upi unao. Nakushikia microphone.
Majina yangu ni Judy Wangeci Njenga. Mimi naishi Naivasha na mimi nimekuwa mkulima kwa muda. But ile kitu imetusaidia hapa sana ni juu ya kushiba maji chini ya ground. Serikali ile kitu tu ningewa advice ni watu shughulie maborehole mingi, watuwekee solar ama stima. Tuwa na borehole itasaidia janga raja zaidi, kwa sababu imo Idabi ilikuwa desert, mimi nikashubua maji ya borehole na sasa naweza kulima hekali 100 za cabbage. Kwa hivyo hakuna upungufu wa chakula nchini Kenya. Kama cabbage haina shida juu yangu, mimi huwa na supply cabbage maroli 5 kila siku Nairobi, Mombasa, Kajiado, Eldoret, na hata mimi huwa Dabaka bari kuchukua cabbage. Kwa hivyo hii ni kuonyesha ya kwamba udongo tulio nao hapa Kenya ni udongo utaweza kushibisha wa Kenya kama tu tutapewa maji ya kutosha. Vile government imeweka mambo ya kujenga barabara, kununua matrakta za barabara, mimi ningeomba watusaidie tu na mashini za kushibua maji na mapipe. Kila mtu awe na maji, awekewe sola na serikali. Hapo sasa wakituachia sisi chakula tutajishibisha wenyewe. Asanteni.
Kumekuwa na Galana Kulalu, unaweza sema nini?
Uko Galana Kulalu maji ni mingi sana, na mimi ningeomba tu serikali William Ruto tafadhali unipe chance tu kidogo ya kumanage hiyo shamba ya Galana Kulalu, uone vile watu hawatakuwa na njaa. Hiyo ni potential kubwa sana ya ardhi inapotea bure bila kuwa na management mzuri. I can manage it very well na tuwe tukipata chakula ya kutosha. Mimi ningeomba hiyo chance tu nipewe kuwa manager huko na uone vile nitaimanage, vile nimemanage shamba yangu. Naona ama cabbage, kuna vitunguu, kuna spinach, watu area hii hawarija. Tuko sawa.
Endapo ungepewa nafasi, wale ambao wana hela, wana ardhi, ungetoa mwito gani kwao kando na serikali? Muda wetu unazidi kwa mdogo.
Ile kitu ningetoa, kama wewe uko na pesa, usione pesa tu kujenga manyumba, kwa sababu mwisho wa kila kitu ni chakula. Ukijenga manyumba tutaishi ndani, but kulima ndio ute wa mgongo wa Kenya. Kwa hivyo ni mzuri sisi wote, hata kama uko na pesa, weka pesa zako kwa maji, shibua maborehole, saidia watu na kazi zipatikane.
Asante. Mwenzangu studioni, kwa sababu ya saa tungefanya haya kwa kipindi kirefu, tutakurejeshia studioni, lakini cha muhimu ujue kwamba hapa tuliko mita 130 tu unapata maji na unaweza kufanya ukulima kama huu. Huu ni mwito ambao unasisitizwa hapa, ambaye amefanya kilimo kwa kiwango kikubwa nchini, na taarifa hii ni mojawapo ya taarifa ambazo tutakuwa tukiwaandalia watazamaji wetu kwenye taarifa zetu mwendo wa saa 1 na saa 3 jioni. Lakini tunakurejeshea kwako studioni ili ukaweze kuvuka kwenye nyanja ya spoti. Kwako studio.
Shukran sana Willy Dennis Njiru akiwa katika kaunti hiyo ya Nakuru, eneo la Naivasha. Na swala nzima la kilimo ni swala ambalo limeweza kuwa kwenye ndimi za wengi kwa muda mrefu sasa, lakini wakati ambapo basi mwanamke anajikakamua na kuamua kwamba atahakikisha kwamba shamba lake linaweza kupata mazao mazuri kama tulivyoona na mwanamke huyo, basi inakuwa adimu kabisa. Ila kwa sasa nitachukua mapumziko mafupi, nitarejea na mengi zaidi, usiende mbali.
Of untold stories. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business. Farming. Tasty Wednesday. Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates, Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates, Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates, Baraza la
Shule ya
Siasa.
wavulana ya Machakos Boys asubuhi ya leo. Moto huo unasemekana kuteketeza mabweni mawili shuleni humo kabla ya maafisa wa idara ya zimamoto kufika katika eneo hilo na kukabili. Hakuna majeruhi walioripotiwa, huku uchunguzi wa kubaini chanzo cha moto huo ukianzishwa. Wakulima kaunti ya Murang'a wanatabasamu nyusoni zao baada ya msimu wa mvua kurudi, huku msimu wa kiangazi ukitatiza mavuno kwenye mashamba yao. Wakulima hawa sasa wanasema wana imani watakuwa na mavuno mengi. Hata hivyo, wakulima hao wamesema kuwa wanahitaji maji mengi kwa kuwa mvua hii haitatosheleza upanzi wao.
Katika kiangazi na njaa nyingi sehemu hii yetu ya Kenya. Sio hapa peke yake, ni sehemu nyingi ambazo tumekumbwa na kiangazi. Kuna sehemu ambazo kiangazi kimemaliza ng'ombe, mbuzi na hata mifugo vingine lakini kwa wakati unamrudishia Mungu shukurani kwa sababu ya mvua ambayo umetuletea na tumefanya ikaweze kuonyesha. Na ndio wakati huu tuko kwa mashamba tukipanda mahindi, maharagwe na hata kwingine watu wanapanda kunde.
Kikuyu, that we need some water for irrigation. We would like very much to have that water so that people can benefit from that water. However, at the moment, people are now preparing their shambas.
Tukisonga mbele, baada ya Rais William Ruto kuwateua makatibu wa wizara mbalimbali, viongozi wa jamii ya Bagusi wamekerwa kwa kukosa kujumuishwa katika nafasi hizo. Wakiongozwa na wakali Danstan Omari, wamemkashifu vikali Rais William Ruto kwa kutelekeza jamii ya Bagusi kwa uteuzi huo ikilinganishwa na serikali za awali, wakisema huenda akawa analipiza kisasi cha udhia wake na aliyekuwa waziri wa usalama Fred Matiang'i ambaye anatoka eneo la Nyamira. Alfayo Kombo amezungumza na baadhi yao. Tuvuke hadi Nyamira tusikize malalamiko hayo.
Nyamira County, West Mogrango constituency. None of Omogusi was elected to that post. Yet, in terms of population-wise, we contribute. We are almost the 5th largest community. In terms of the economy of this country, we are the 2nd in terms of generation of the income, the economy that runs the taxes that the president uses. This is the first time since 1963 the larger community of Omogusi has never failed to be in the permanent secretaries. Last time we had four permanent secretaries. Now that is only in Nyamira. We have lost. We are demanding, as all these are voters, these are taxpayers, and these are members of the Kisii community. They are demanding as to why the president is in a revenge mission. We know very well this is premised on the fact that the Secretary for Interior hailed from this county. Chief Justice, retired Maraga, hailed from this county. There is a systemic approach to marginalize Nyamira County.
Naam, mpenzi mtazamaji, hivi sasa tumeweza kutamatisha awamu hii ya taarifa zetu kuu, ila kumbuka tupo naye Lucky Heriano ambaye atakuwa akikuletea cheche za spoti na yuko tayari ili kuweza kuwaburudisha kwa hayo. Lucky, unaendeleaje?
Niko shwari, nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu tuweze kuangazia masuala tofauti katika nyanja ya michezo. Kwa hivyo mengi yapo kwa faida ya mtazamaji azidi kutizama.
Kwa hivyo ni mengi tumeweza kuandaliwa siku hii ya leo kwenye cheche.
Kama kawaida.
Sawa.